Hi, and welcome to Gadget News and Review. We are home to some of the coolest gadgets, and the best consumer reviews online, buyer's guides and features. If you like our review, please subscribe for more upcoming reviews videos. Acer Chromebook 15-315 Review. Acer's Chromebook 15 offers a large display and a low price. We see if it lives up to its promise in our full review. Chromebooks have often tended to adopt 11.6 and 13 inches display sizes, which makes them great for portability but can be a little small for some people. So, if you've yearned for a larger screen, the 2019 Acer Chromebook 15 could be a tempting proposition. We put through its paces to see if size really does matter. For a full rundown of our favorite Google-powered laptops, take a look at the best Chromebooks chart. Acer offers a few variations of the CB315, with the one we're reviewing featuring an 1.6 GHz AMD A6-9220C processor, 4GB RAM, 64GB of storage and a 1366 by 768 TN display, all for £279 per $279. This is the model we've tested. If you want more power, then there's the 1.8 GHz AMD A6-9220C processor model, which also sees the display quality bumped up to Full HD 1080p for £299 per $399. There's also a touchscreen variant, CB315-2HT, but at the time of writing we have no price or details of availability. As you might expect with a price under £300 per $300, the case for the CB315 is plastic rather than metal. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, as it not only keeps down the cost but also the weight. At 3.15 pounds, 1.43 kilograms, it's not the heft that you'd normally associate with a device measuring 381 by 256 by 20 millimeters. A crosshair brush pattern, which emulates brushed aluminium, adorns the lid. It looks smart and clean, giving the CB315 an aesthetic that belies its inexpensive nature. The same can't be said when you lift the lid, as you're greeted with an expanse of frosted gray, silver plastic that is not dissimilar to other devices in this price bracket. It looks perfectly fine, but can't hide the fact that it's a cheap machine. Typing on the keyboard is a spongy experience, and we found the space bar regularly failed to register a press. We're sure that over time an adjustment of technique would reduce the omissions, but this keyboard isn't going to be at the top of anyone's favorites list. That's not the same for the trackpad though, which is responsive and accurate. The CB315 comes with a 1.6 GHz AMD A6-9220C processor, which comes from the 7th generation of the company's A4 chips. It's paired with a Radeon R4 GPU, 4GB of RAM, and a generous for Chromebooks 64GB of storage. In our time with the CB315, we found the performance to be adequate rather than impressive. Again, if you're working on Google Docs, Google Sheets, or similar productivity apps, then everything is fine. Stream music in another tab and there are still no problems. We did start to notice a dip once we switched from music to video in YouTube. The audio remained perfectly stable, but switching from one tab to another then back to the video often resulted in the picture being frozen for a second or two, or suddenly speeding up to try and get back in sync with the soundtrack. If you're not bothered by this, and in reality it's hardly the end of the world, then the CB315 can be relied on to deliver stable if uninspiring levels of performance. In our standard range of benchmarks, it scored 38.08 in Jetstream 2 and 294.48 in Basemark 3.0, which puts it in the lower half of Chromebooks that we've tested so far. The 15.6 inches TN panel has a maximum resolution of 1366 by 768, which is not uncommon on Chromebooks. For general word processing, spreadsheets and web browsing, it's a serviceable display, but that's about the extent of it. The pale, washed-out colors mean videos lack any kind of luster, and the poor off-angle viewing negates using the CB315 as a TV replacement for more than one person. Brightness is weak too, with our meter registering a maximum of 207 candelas per square meter. Now, all of this has to be given the context of price. As this laptop can be picked up for around £250 per $250 online, it's unfair to expect stellar performance, IPS panels and 4K resolutions. So, if you are happy with a basic display that has little in the way of thrills, then this will let you get some work done and browse online without issue. We'd say it's probably worth spending the small amount extra to get the full HD model, the CB315-2HT. Camera. The pattern continues with the webcam, which delivers grainy and pale video. Yes, it can be used in a pinch, but with a top resolution of 480p and generally underwhelming performance, there's not much to make you want to spend any extended time on video chats if you want the person on the other end to see you clearly. Connectivity and audio. Acer may have cut corners on various elements of the CB315, but credit is due for the port selection. There are two USB-C version 3.1 connections available, one on either side, and both can be used to charge the laptop or connect it to external devices. There's also a couple of standard USB 3 ports, a micro USB slot, 3.5mm headphone jack, and even a Kensington lock. Not bad at all. Upward-facing speakers reside on the flanks of the keys and project a surprising amount of volume. Mid and treble frequencies are distinct and well balanced, but bass is distinctly lacking, which is a shame. If you're watching reasonably talk-based media, then it will be fine, but music and action movies won't be as impressive. Battery life. Acer boasts a 10-hour battery life for the CB315, and while that could well be possible under certain conditions, our standard HD video loop test drained the device dry in 7 hours and 38 minutes. As you're unlikely to be watching videos for an entire working day, this means that you should happily be able to remain productive on the device until late into the evening. Software. Chromeos is a lightweight, easy-to-use operating system that is great for those who find Windows and Mac OS a bit complicated. As you'd expect from an OS developed by Google, it remains web-centric with most of its apps requiring an internet connection to work. That being said, there are plenty of useful offline apps too, with Google Docs, Sheets, and other productivity tools allowing you to work even when Wi-Fi hotspots go dark. An added bonus for Chromebook users now is that many Android apps will also run on Chromeos, bringing even more offline capabilities. The formatting can be hit and miss, with most still optimized for the tall displays of smartphones rather than the wider style of laptops, but it instantly expands the amount of applications available. If you're happy to live in the Google universe, and don't need to plug many peripherals into your device, then Chromeos is a very pleasant place to spend time. Thanks to constant updates and the nature of the OS, it's also arguably safer than Windows, requires less maintenance, and negates the need for antivirus software. There's a paucity of choice when it comes to Chromebooks with large displays. Therefore, the CB315 has an immediate advantage when appealing to those who prefer more real estate on their screens. The cost is also low enough to possibly make up for the average performance and dim, bland display. But the keyboard is a problem, and one that became increasingly irritating the longer we spent with the device. Performance hiccups also left us feeling that while it might seem good on paper, we can't recommend this laptop over most of the other ones that you'll find in our best Chromebook chart. Should I buy the Acer Chromebook 15 CB315-2H? Experts rating, a large display might seem a big draw, but unfortunately the panel itself is dull and lifeless unless you have it turned up all the way. The keyboard is the main drawback though, regularly failing to register taps of the space bar and quickly becoming a huge frustration. The CB315 is cheap, and that's the main reason to buy it.